Hi guys, it's Jess. We're going to be making the handbag today. So go ahead and get your yarn and your supplies. You need a size 10 hook and a tapestry needle, some scissors, and also a stitch marker. So first we're going to start by making a slip knot onto your hook. So I just go over my fingers like this and then move the string to the back and go under like that, and then pull up this loop like so, put it on my hook, and we're going to chain 18. So go ahead and do that. Okay, now we are going to single crochet across our chain, going into the second chain from the hook into the third back loop only. So usually we go into the top of our chain to do your stitches, but we're going to twist our chain like this, and you can see there are these like humps in the back. We're going to go into those. So skipping the first one, going into the second, and let's go ahead and make single crochet all the way across. So that is going to be 17 stitches. Okay, and now we're going to chain one and turn our work, and we're going to do single crochets all the way across, 17 stitches for rows 2 through 5. We're going to do the same thing. So going into our first stitch, this is our first one, and do a single crochet. And then we're going to just go all the way across for rows 2 through 5. Okay, so we've done our 5 rows, and now we have to crochet around the entire base. So we're going to turn our work like this, and we have to put 1 crochet that coordinates with each of these rows. But on the corners we need to put 2 so that it makes it nice and rounded. So we're going to start with this top row here. We need to put 1 in this row. So I'm just going to, instead of going into the same space, because I don't want a big gaping hole, I'm just going to kind of pull up a loop over here somewhere and make a single crochet. Okay, and then I need to put 1 that coordinates with this row, so I'm just going to grab any loop. There's no rule, there's no right or wrong here. I'm just going to grab this one. Okay, that's 3. Here I'm going to grab this one. Oops, kind of came out. Okay, and then in my last one, I'm going to make 2 single crochet. But actually, I'm going to put this one in a different hole because I don't want a huge gaping hole. So let me see if I can find a different space, maybe this one here. And I'm going to hide my tail. Okay, so now we're on the bottom side, and we originally did a when we made our chain, we went into the third back loop, and this is the reason why, so that your bottom chain is symmetrical to the top. So it's very easy for us to understand where to put our stitches. So we're going to just go into every single stitch on the bottom, doing a single crochet, and because we started out with 17 in our stitch count, we're going to do 17. So just go all the way across. Okay, so we've done our 17 on the bottom, and now we need to go back up. So we're going to do 2 in the first row. This is the very first row we did. This is our extra that we just did. We're going to put 2 into this hole. Okay, and now this is our next row, so we're going to put 1 in there. This is the next, we're going to put 1 in there. This is the next row. And then this top row, we're gonna put 2 in there. And I like to do 2 in different spaces. That way it's not, you know, there's not a huge hole. 2. Now we're back at the top. Okay, so now we need to do 17 across into every space. Okay, and we've gotten to the very end, so we have done 47 all the way around. And now we're going to go into another stitch just to close this off. So the very first stitch we made on the side, right here, we're gonna go into that same space. So I'm just gonna go in there, like this. Okay, and that kind of just makes it look perfect. And now what we have to do is slip stitch all the way around. So I'm gonna turn my work and I'm gonna put my slip stitch, my first slip stitch, which is here. And I'm gonna just slip stitch all the way around. Okay, so I have slip stitched around the entire thing. I've done 47 slip stitches because the very last slip stitch I'm going to do an invisible slip stitch. So I need to cut my yarn, pull this out, and then grab a tapestry needle, and you're gonna thread your yarn through your needle like this, and then take out this marker. You don't need that. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go underneath these 2 loops of the very first stitch, pull it through and kind of adjust this to look like the other stitches. And then you're gonna go back into the last one. You're gonna go through the top of it vertically. So I'm gonna go through there. And then just adjust it to kind of look like the same size as the other ones. And then this you're gonna tie in to the back. So this is what the base looks like. Okay, and then tie in your ends and I'll get back to you after you do that. Okay, so now we're gonna start working on the sides of the bag. So you've tied in your ends and everything. And I'm just gonna move my bag like this and do a slip knot onto your hook again. Okay. Now we have the base facing us basically upside down, but this is right side up, but eventually at the end it's going to be facing upside down. So we need to, if you can see, this is our slip stitching. If you turn it, this braid is the last single crochet row that you did all the way around. So we will not be working into the slip stitching. We will be turning and working into the back loop of our single crochets. So this is the back loop, not both of them. And then if you turn it even more, there are these other humps back here. We're going to pick up the back loop and one of these humps. This is the third back loop. And by doing that, you create a really stable, sturdy edge. And it also minimizes the holes that you see. So it doesn't really matter where you start. I'm going to put in my hook like this. And I'm going to grab some yarn and do a single crochet. And then I just adjust this like this and I'll tie that in later. And that's my first one. I'm just going to go around the entire bag doing the same exact thing, going into my next stitch and into the third back loop, grabbing my yarn and doing a single crochet like that. Okay, so do that all the way around and I'll meet you back over here. Okay, so I have come all the way around and now I'm just going to slip stitch into the very first stitch that I did. This was the fake single crochet, which counts as a stitch. So we have done 48 total all the way around. I'm going to go into the actual stitch and do a slip stitch because it's not too secure right there. And then I'm going to chain 1. Okay, and I'm going to put a stitch marker on this chain 1. And then now I'm going to be doing knit stitches all the way around. So the knit stitch is basically a single crochet, but you're not going into the top 2 loops right here. You're going to be going into the actual V of the stitch. So if you look at this, there is in the single crochet this tiny little post and the legs of the single crochet, and you want to go under the post and in the legs and then come out, and you're kind of going through it, and that is called a knit stitch. So we're going to be doing knit stitches all the way around into every single one. I'm going to do another one to show you. So I have my single crochet. I'm going to go inside the legs, underneath the post, and complete my stitch. And this actually makes a really tight stitch. So go all the way around till you get to the stitch marker, and then I'll meet you there. Okay, so I've come all the way around, and now I have my stitch marker here. I'm gonna, if you can see the chain 1 we did and everything, now this kind of looks like 2 legs. So we're gonna do a stitch in there. So take this out. You're gonna go in between there and then do your stitch. And now we're gonna just be working in the round. We will not be chaining 1, nothing like that. Let's put a stitch marker so we can keep track of how many rows we're doing. And you're gonna go around and around doing these, the knit stitch for 16 rows total. So let's meet back whenever we've done that. Okay, so we're now at the end of these rows. I've done all 16 rows, and we're going to now slip stitch around the top. So take out your stitch marker and make your first slip stitch, put it back in. Okay, and you're just going to slip stitch around the entire top. Okay, so I've slip stitched all the way around, and now I'm going to make an invisible slip stitch join for my very last one. So I'm going to cut my yarn like this, take out my stitch marker, grab a tapestry needle and thread my yarn, and then we're going to go underneath these 2 loops here, pull it through, and then we're going to go through the top of these 2 loops in the middle. Like this. Okay, adjust a little bit, and then tie in your ends. So I'm going to tie in my ends, and then I'll get right back to you. Okay, so I've tied in my ends, and now we need to put on the handles. So here are my handles, and what you're going to need first is an awl. Sorry. This is your awl, and you're going to need this to poke holes. So this handle already came with holes, but they weren't big enough to put t-shirt yarn through. So you just kind of take it and you stretch the leather out like this. And I just do every other one, stretching out these holes here. And if you don't do this, it will be a nightmare to get this on. And of course, if you want to add a different type of handle that doesn't have leather, it will be much easier. This just looks really nice. It looks professional, so I use this. So you have to find, kind of the perfect place on the bag, which can be tricky. So what I do is let me zoom out. I say, okay, these are my sides. The bag most likely is going to be like this, you know, so I kind of put that in and I find a good side. And like here, for example. So the first one is easy because you don't have to match it up with the other ones. So what I do is I put a stitch marker where I want this to be. So let's say I want it to be here. I'm going to put a stitch marker there. Okay. All right, so now I need to get out some of my t-shirt yarn. Cut yourself a long strand, and then you're going to take this and you're going to cut it down the middle because it's too thick to go through those holes. So I'm just going to cut it. Okay. Take one of those strands. I would start with the smaller end. It's just easier. And then thread your tapestry needle. So you just kind of flatten this out. Thread your needle like this. Okay. And then come over to your bag. And I like that the metal piece is kind of above. Oh, this was backwards, you see? All right, the metal piece is kind of coming over this, you know, slip stitching. So I'm gonna place it like this, and then you start from the back just like when you sew. You know, you always start from the back, find yourself a hole, and just go in the hole. And you're gonna sew this on. So pulling through, and then I'm just gonna make sure this is kind of straight, and then go through the next hole like so. Okay, you want to make sure it's straight with the rows that you see. Now the next hole, you're going to come through here. So you're basically going to be doing a back stitch. Let me see if I can find a hole. It can be tricky. Okay, that's fine. Okay. You're going to tighten this. Try to smooth this out a little bit. And then you go in and back through the top. And it gets tighter and tighter as you do this. It's kind of a pain. But it's pretty. Okay. And you're just going to do that all the way around. Just securing this on here. Find your next hole. Make sure your thing is straight. And just continue all the way around. Okay, so I've tied on my first one, and if you look on the other side, there's some strings. I would just secure these by threading them through. You can even knot it, but if you thread it through, then it's invisible and you don't even need a lining, so that's nice. All right, and so now the difficult part is to do this on the other side. Make sure you don't twist your handle. You've really got to find the perfect place that is symmetrical with the other side. So you got to find that place, I would say, you know, here, and make sure it's also at the same height at the bottom. Okay, so let's stay right there, and I would just first put a stitch marker here, say like right above this one here. And then on the other side, when you flip it over, you're going to want to find the same place on the other side of the bag. So you flip it over, maybe from here it's easier to see, and then you can just line it up and put a stitch marker over here. Let's say, you know, these are kind of tight, these stitches. It's not going through. It's because this stitch marker is a piece of crap. Don't buy these. Get the ones that are not plastic. Okay. So put one stitch marker there and then line this up, and you can put a stitch marker here. And no matter how advanced you are in crochet. Stitch markers are useful. Okay, and then that way you know where to put your handle on the other side. And so you're just going to repeat that process for all, 4 pieces. I'm going to tie this in because it's bothering me, like this, to make it tight. And then that's it, and that's how you make the bag. And if you don't like that it's flimsy and not so sturdy, there are lots of ways you can fix that. I talk about this in my free videos that I have in my mailing list if you haven't signed up for that before. Basically, you can dip this in glue and water. The problem with dipping it in glue, though, is it's going to turn yellow, slightly yellow, and then you're going to ruin your whole piece. If you dip it in sugar water, it's going to make it solid as a rock and become very heavy. And then also it's not permanent. And so you could have the problem of, if you get it wet, all of a sudden it gets soft in a spot. So that's not good. The best way is actually using liquid starch, dipping it in liquid starch, and then letting it dry. But it's always going to be more heavy once you do that. So, or you could just crochet tighter by using a smaller crochet hook and by looping over your hook in the different direction, which would be, I believe, in the front to make it tighter. And so those are some things you can do to make it more sturdy if you don't like that it's like this. But that's how you make the bag. Thanks for watching. See you next time.